What is up? Welcome back. This is going to be quite the test for Roma coming up against Napoli in Naples. Oh boy, am I afraid? I'm hopeful. I very much am. But I know that this is one of the best, one of the most informed teams in all of Europe. I'm Wayne Gerard. Welcome back. We're going to be breaking down Napoli-Roma in this second part of the Serie A season, second round between these two clubs this season. Alright, so how have both sides been looking? Napoli, of course, stellar. Roma, getting on track, starting to build upon their performances, playing so much better with Dybala back. He's been involved in so many goal-scoring actions. Tammy Abraham has been so much more in form. He's been really making a great partnership with Dybala. Pellegrini, he's been out a little bit of time at this point, but we see that the defense has been able to work so well together, staying compact. The best defense in all of Europe in the last, I think, since the start of Mourinho's tenure, letting in so few shots on target, letting in very little space around the keeper's box. And Patricio really should be thinking and taking his defenders out to dinner. Ibañez has spoken ahead of this one, and he said, Napoli, it's going to be a very tough game against the best team in the league, but also an opportunity to reduce the gap between both of them. Now, about reducing that gap, Roma could go very high up into the table. With Juventus being docked 15 points, this is a massive opportunity for Roma to unimaginably get into second spot if all the stars align at the end of this fixture. Mourinho, he has been present watching the youth sector so closely as he has. He's brought in Tahirovic, Zalewski, so many great players who have been coming up through Roma's ranks, thanks to Mourinho, very much so. And in the same way, he was out there watching this season's Coppa Italia match against Napoli at Tre Fontane, which is also where the women play. It's sometimes used as a training ground as well. And this has been one of the bright spots, and I think it's one of the ways going forward for Roma. We know that Italian teams do a lot and are really trying to get their finances in order. And in order to do that, I think Roma is going to continue to look at the youth sector and make the most out of that. And it's absolutely a way forward for Roma in particular, because they have one of the best, if not the best, Primavera over the last 25 years, if not more, in all of Italy. So why not utilize this? Why not build these players up and make them part of the system, not just where they get loaned out, but a manager who brings them into the fold, helps them develop with the leaders and the senators and the veterans around them to help foster this type of growth, and hopefully something that is more beneficial than just shipping them out to a Serie B club or a Spezia or somebody like that. So I'm very much a fan of this, the way that Mourinho is doing this and the way that the ownership is doing this. So Mourinho's kryptonite has very much been Spalletti. In the last 4 times that they've faced each other, Mourinho hasn't gotten one win out of Spalletti. The last time he did was actually when he was coaching Inter, and that was against, of course, when Spalletti was at Roma, and that was a 4-0 at the Olimpico. So Mourinho's lost 1 and drawn 3 of the last league encounters between these two managers. Recent history against each other with Napoli and Roma: 4 wins for Napoli, 2 draws, of course 0 losses, making the 6th there. And Roma haven't scored in 4 out of 5 of their last matches against Napoli. These are pretty grim statistics, and these are coming from Opta, which I love to use. I used them when I was at CBS. That's how they're gaining all these great stats. This is how commentators and broadcasters are able to, how did they know that? It's probably through Opta or something that's like Opta. In the last game, though, we know that Roma succumbed to a great Osimhen goal who slips past Smalling. However, in that match, Roma did not get a single shot on target. Not good stuff. It was the first time that Roma had failed to land a single shot on target in a Serie A match since December 2015, when Rudy Garcia was still the boss. Coincidentally, this also came against Napoli. And this was the first time in recorded history since 2004 and 05 that Roma haven't attempted a single shot on target in a Serie A game. So these are some really powerful statistics to look at, and it's natural that they do make you a little bit afraid. I'm almost at a loss there, as I'm thinking, when you read a stat like this, it is frightening. However, it lets Roma know and Mourinho understand exactly what they need to do in order to get the ball towards the back of the net, at least get that pressure applied a little bit towards Napoli's defensive half. It is a team that they can go toe-to-toe against. I remember that when Napoli came to Roma, for so much of that game, Roma was a very good team in it. Were they the better team for all 90 minutes? No. Napoli had their bits and their phases where they definitely controlled the match. However, they are the number one team in the league. They're one of the best teams in all of Europe, and that's to be expected. But Roma, for a very long time in that match, at least for 20, 30 minutes, did control it and were a very good side. And they looked like they could have scored at times, but this Napoli is also a very good defensive side. Right now, Napoli is at the 50-point mark halfway into the season. Only 6 teams have done this beforehand. It's an incredible stat. And Roma might be 13 points off of Napoli, but you know what? If they do win, they can get themselves into second place. There's so much ground to be made if Roma do come away with some points here in Napoli. Recent form, Roma's doing good. They head into this match on a 6-game unbeaten league run, winning 3 and drawing 3 since November. That's the 9th of November. Currently, the longest unbeaten run in all of Serie A. Since the resumption of the league following the World Cup, they have kept the most clean sheets, which was 3 in 4 games, and have allowed their opponents just a league low 2.3 expected goals, or XG, as you might see it come up. So Roma's very strong right now defensively. Like I said, the midfield is coming together. The attack, Abraham, Dybala, whoever's joining them, El Shaarawy worked his socks off against Spezia, gets the first goal there. I think there is definitely hope, and I think that has to be Roma's strongest tool, as well as the fact that, you know what, the ball rolls both ways, and statistics are meant to be broken. As I went through this episode just now, these are just an insurmountable amount of statistics going against Roma when you look at the amount of shots that Napoli takes. When you look at Osimhen, who's about to break his league season record. He had 13 at Lille. He had 14 last season for Napoli. He's going to break that inevitably, so it's his best season on paper. Kvaratskhelia has 7 goals, which is equal to Roma's top scorer with Dybala, who has 7. So it shows you just how they are able to spread the goals around. They have Simeone, Raspadori, who is one of my favorite players in the midfield, Zieliński, who's having a great season, Lobotka. So Mario Rui, who ended up becoming a decent player against what I really thought. I didn't think that he was going to become such a quality signing for Napoli, but honestly, he really has. It's unbelievable. And I'm going to get you these expected formations now. Meret, Di Lorenzo, Kim, Rrahmani, and Rui at the back. So it's a 4-3-3 that Spalletti lines up with on paper. In midfield, you're looking at Zieliński and Lobotka with Anguissa. So a bit of a trident there, with Zieliński taking the more advanced space when he likes to get up and he likes to be a little bit of a playmaker there, especially as Kvaratskhelia does his thing. So the two of them combine really well in the left quadrant, if you want to call it that, on the pitch. Ahead of them, Chucky Lozano on the right, Osimhen and Kvaratskhelia. So powerful. I think this is also a really good season by Chucky Lozano. He's been doing super good. He's improved so much under Spalletti. And then Roma, 3-4-2-1. Don't expect any changes from Mourinho for this one as far as formation, but it's Mancini, Smalling, Ibañez, Europe's best defense there. Zalewski, Matić, Cristante, and perhaps even Kamara. So they're not too sure on paper. I don't think that it is going to be Kamara. I'm not sure. There's been some drama with Spinazzola if he's able to start on the right. So that's going to be a developing situation. And with Zalewski there, it's going to have a lot of responsibility. And whoever comes in at right back, for sure. We know Viña just went out on loan. He's no longer with the team. Ahead of them, Dybala, El Shaarawy, Abraham. However, Pellegrini should be fit. He should be able, and I'm wondering if El Shaarawy is going to get slotted back and Pellegrini gets the start. To me, as I speak more about it right now, I'm starting to feel that that is probably what's going to happen. So figure Zalewski on the right or left, Matić, Cristante, and El Shaarawy at the wing-back role, pushing a little bit deeper there than he's accustomed to playing throughout his career, but this season he's played an important role there. And Dybala has been fantastic. As I pull up these stats here in these slides, you just see how impactful he's been. Let me know what you're doing. Give this video a like. Give it a comment. Let me know how you're feeling. Do you think Roma's going to win? Do you think Napoli's going to win? The percentages are over 50% that Napoli are going to get 3 points. It's in the cauldron. That is the Maradona Stadium. I'm actually going out to a restaurant tonight where the owners are from Napoli, so I get to see more. I'm going to feel like, Maradona, the spirit is breathing down my neck, but this is going to be an exciting one. I'm planning on going to Roma Club New York, and if I do that, I'll do a live recap video from there for sure. But Roma's biggest tool will be hope, and that they stay organized, and that they can hit Napoli where it hurts. And that's when they get pressure up, when they get players who succumb and bite a little bit too much, that they're able to exploit them on the flanks. Look at the goal that Dybala scored against Fiorentina. That happened from a mistake. Bonaventura tried to pass that through the middle. It was repossessed, played quickly, out to Abraham, who laid it off to Dybala, and that whole sequence was like less than 7 seconds. So football is a very fast sport, and the way that Mourinho plays is even faster when it comes to getting to goal. Let's go, guys. Forza Roma. As always, let's talk soon. Ciao.